I'm Amy DeVroon and welcome to Year of the Selfie podcast. 2020 has been a mad year thus far, a year where we've really had to take a look at ourselves. As a self-help nut, this hasn't been hugely out of the ordinary for me, but what has been so unusual is watching an entire creative industry grind to a halt in front of my very eyes. The link between creativity and mental health has always fascinated me, so I wanted to go deeper. In a world where we so often equate success with fame, it can be easy to forget the reason behind it all. Creativity. This unique, inexplicable gift. The thing we do where we lose all sense of time. The thing that lifts our hearts even in the darkest of moments. The thing that many of us feel we were put on this earth to do. So every week I'm going to talk to my guests about just that. Their creativity. Their highs and lows, and where they find their creativity when it feels like there's nowhere to put it. On today's podcast, we've none other than Thommas Kane Byrne, Irish actor, writer, all-round magic maker, and always handy with an RuPaul quote. You're gonna love him, guys. Enjoy. Thommas Kane Byrne, welcome to Year of the Selfie podcast.
Thanks for having me, babe. Yeah.
Had a bit of a false start there. I had to stop because my dog was playing with the squeaky ball. But let's not talk about that. But actually, which I forgot to ask you before we even came on, do you prefer to be called Thommas or TKB? What's the vibe?
Thommas, I think. TKB just happened. I don't even know how it happened. And then people just kept calling me, so I was like, right, you know what, I'll do TKB when I write and then Thommas when I act, just to kind of separate them a bit more, you know. That's actually nice. That's a good idea. Yeah.
That's a good idea. And actually, speaking of, sorry, because I'm just going to dive right in, seeing as you're talking about the writing. So Thommas, you're a total, this is actually why I wanted you on the podcast, I think. When I went to see your play, we were both doing plays in theatre upstairs, and mine was just on before yours, and I think yours then came out after. And I remember I'd noticed the poster for the previous one. I hadn't been to it, but it was such a visual explosion of fabulousness. So I definitely noted it, and then obviously was aware of you, and then I went to see this show, and just the sheer amount of work you have done in a short space of time. And I definitely felt an affinity towards that, because there was a sort of time in my 20s where I just made a decision. I was like, I'm just going to write a zillion one-woman shows in a row and just fucking get them on wherever I can get them on. So I definitely felt that kind of affinity with you. And I guess, did the writing come first, or was it a similar thing where you kind of going like, listen, no one's giving me work and I'm just going to have to make it for myself? Or was it just something that kind of poured out of you?
Everything, just from people always telling me, oh, you should write. Do you know when you'd put up like a Facebook rant or whatever, people would always say oh, you have a way with words and stuff like that. I've always kind of wanted to, and then as well, as you were saying there, the practical side of it, when you look like me and you sound like me, no one is going to ring your phone. Yeah. You know what I mean? So I sorted out my own phone plan and I made the calls, you know what I mean? Yeah. And then obviously it started to happen from that. But yeah, and also as well, I was just sick of people putting my accent on and appropriating my background. Do you know what I mean? And saying birthdays and skirts and all of this carry on. And I just wanted to give an authentic interpretation of the world I'm from, you know? Yeah.
No, and you definitely do. And actually, speaking of that, because that is kind of it is relevant, that kind of whole, do you think we do talk about that enough in our industry, or just in, I guess Ireland in general? So say for example, this whole the whole idea of the working class actors, right? In the UK. So when I was training in the UK, there was conversations constantly about it, and about how there isn't enough support out there for working class actors. It's harder for them, for people, or for people from certain areas maybe to either to have access to theatre, or to have the kind of to the support or the money or whatever. And is that a conversation, do you think, that we're opening up now, or maybe when you were coming through and you were kind of going, I'm just hearing people put on my voice, I'm not hearing my voice out there?
Yeah.
Do you think it's only just starting to really step into the kind of spotlight now?
Yeah,
Quite a long question, sorry.
No, you're grand, babe. Oh, don't worry. I'll be talking in circles. I think it is starting to we're starting to have them conversations, and people are more aware of it now, I think. Do you know what I mean? Because let's be honest, in Irish theatre, if they're casting an Oscar Wilde play or anything like that, they're not going to audition Erica Rose. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
If they're casting a working class play, they'll audition every actress in Dublin, regardless of where she's from.
Yeah, so it kind of works in one way and it doesn't work in the other way. Why do you think that is? Like, actually, why do you think that is? Yeah.
Probably because they don't trust us to even play ourselves, so we'll bring in other people just in case. No, do you know what? I think it is starting to change. And look, I think there is so many, what's the word I'm looking for? Resources and help working class people and people from disadvantaged backgrounds into like training and third level education. I just wish the same level of resources, like the Trinity Access Programme and stuff like that, was there for the arts as well. And for the kids who wanted to train in the Gaiety or the Lear. Now, with the Lear, because it's like, it's Trinity, and you know, the fees are much less if you haven't been in a university before, and whatever that rule is. But with the Gaiety and stuff like that, because it's a private college, you're on your own, really. Do you know what I mean? The grace of like your parents, like. So I think it's becoming here, and in England, it's becoming a middle class profession because simply a lack of money and resources. You know, so I think there could be a bit more work done to kind of make arts training as available as, say, getting to law school or. Am I talking in circles?
No, not at all. I think you're right. And I think I think as well, sometimes it's a kind of an awkward one to have a conversation about, because say in the UK, right, there's always about it all the time. Hang on, my speaker just keeps going loose. I don't know. Start again. So say in the UK, there's conversations about it all the time, about kind of the working class actors. And like I saw like an article in like Pauline Quirke was starting up her own kind of theatre school or drama school in order to kind of like to help people. And there's loads of things, conversations. And I do wonder, is it awkward sometimes in our country because we don't like to admit that there's a class system? Because there's this general thing, and I think maybe more so, I could be talking out my hole now, but like maybe more so about like, and I don't know why I'm getting so political here, but I think maybe from older people, like older generations, because they kind of are like, well, we were all peasants, you know what I mean? Like, you know, it's a young country, you know, none of us were doing particularly well, and I wonder, is that kind of an awkwardness or something? Because it's like we don't want to admit that it's there. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It is there.
I think there is an awkwardness around it. Like, and you do get the good old boys who say there's no such thing as class in Ireland. When baby, it's as prevalent in Ireland as it is in fucking Les Mis. You know what I mean? Like, let's be real. But I'd like to think it's changing, and I like to think we're having them conversations. Do you know what I mean? And then obviously as well, even if you are a working class person, like I'm still very much a white man, and you know, I still have to kind of stop and recognize my privilege as well, you know. Yeah,
exactly, and it's all relative. Do you know what I mean? It's all like
negating lightens the blow. I'd just be raging if I was a straight white man.
Exactly. It does actually lighten the blow. You're right. And would you ever push for a role, like, is there ever a role that, like, say isn't in your accent or whatever, and you're like, but I know I could do it? Like, would you be like, would you push for it? Would you actually have the confidence to push for it, I guess?
Oh yeah, absolutely. And it's not even just in my accent. Like, I had to push for a long time to even be seen for heterosexual roles. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And if it wasn't for, to be honest, Louise Kiley kind of believing in me and kind of seeing me as more than the gay best friend, that would have never happened, you know?
That's amazing. And did she literally just like, sorry, I'm interrupting you, but did she literally just go, like she was just happy to see you for it? Or so she just basically had seen what you could do, basically, and was
and it just takes that one person to kind of believe in you, you know, because that's what I am, Amy. Like, I'm not a romantic lead or anything like that, you know. I'm a character actor, you know. I love transforming my voice and transforming my body, and like, you know,
Yeah, I think, but I think that's the most, I don't know, I think character actors, there's so much fun in character actors, and yeah, I don't know, I think it's, leads are great, but I think they can, it can get boring, and I think there's
Yeah.
like a lot
Come
more
here.
to
I
it.
loved your Lady Mary.
We just stop.
Oh
Well,
my
that's another
God.
example of having to just like make shit happen yourself, or like
Yeah,
that's
I
probably not a
loved
role I
doing
would have
that.
done.
Oh,
Stop.
you were, honest to God, you were like a fucking gazelle. Like, I
We just
loved it. Sorry, I'm
stop.
interviewing you now. Sorry.
No, it's grand. No, because actually, I do remember you. Actually, you like rose to your feet at the end, and you were like, "I think I hope I'm not."
Live.
Yeah, no, but I was like, "I'm thrilled." Oh my god,
Oh,
such a compliment. No, such a compliment. Oh, thank you so much. Yeah, it was like that, but that was a similar thing. Like that was, well, that was like a few things, like a few shows down, obviously. But like, I was just getting to the point where I was a blonde in my 20s, like tall, slim blonde in her 20s, like no one want, like that's so boring. Like no one wanted to look at me over. Like, and I was in London and everything, and then I just went. I just got to a point where I was like, I'm actually just going to start writing and just see what happens. And that's where all the shows came out of, because it was out of a necessity to actually have some control and actually and feel like I could create something. Because that's like what you're saying, even with the certain roles. Like it's like the gay best friend is fun, right? But there's sometimes that's one thing, and that's one aspect of the world that you can inhabit.
yeah.
And I'm like, and I feel like that. I'm like, yeah, this kind of like, like, you know, like the girl that fancies the guy, like that's really interesting for like a second. But I'd like to find more in my characters so I'll make them myself, because yeah, no one's going to just hand them to me.
Exactly. And at the end of the day, like, it's really, sorry, I'm fanning
No,
myself
go.
with the Pride fan. It doesn't
It's
get better,
so
baby.
fabulous. I can't even.
I'm roasting in this department. At the end of the day, like, it's not a casting director's job to kind of dig into you and see what you can do.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? They can only see what they're presented with, and it's kind of up to you. Even if it's a role you've been seen for 17 times, like, it's up to you to even show them another side to it, or another side to what you can do, and then, you know?
Yeah, absolutely.
So yeah, and it is the kind of movers and shakers and people who make things happen, like me and you, who kind of, and
Yeah.
hard to get seen, do you know what I mean? Because it's not their job just to kind of, I feel like I'm talking in circles now, I'm fucking roasting.
No, we just stop. Oh, no, relax. No, like honestly, it's fine. You're fine. You're not talking in circles. It's actually very interesting. I promise. But I was going to ask as well, just speaking of that kind of time and that era, because I feel like it's kind of what did springboard you out of from one place to kind of where you are now, and you're taking over the world, quite frankly. But like, but it was definitely, you know, and I don't, it was definitely Theatre Upstairs and Carl and Laura, and I don't want to get into it, because I feel like sometimes we kind of do this whole eulogizing the whole thing, and you know, when we have these conversations, but like, what kind of, I just would love to know, because actually I was talking to Paul about this in the previous podcast as well, and I was saying, like, for me, I was reading after Carl passed away, like Carl gave me a shot when no one else would. That's exactly what he did for me. Nobody would look at me over here in Irish theatre. Like, I had so many very rude experiences with people, and Carl was just like, you know, was such a support. And I just would like, I'd love to just know about what that time in Theatre Upstairs was for you, and where you were at. Like, where were you at at that point? Was it kind of like no one would look at you, like you couldn't get arrested? Like, and did they just provide kind of this kind of like creative hub for you? Because it did seem like you owned the gaff, like you were in, you know, like you were just like play after play, and you know.
You know what it was? Oh God, I don't know, like, I was never the safe bet. Do you know what I mean? Like, when I was in drama school, there were 6 boys. Do you know what I mean? 5 of them were very beautiful, conventional men. I by no means was the safe bet. You know what I mean? And no one at a time when, like, we're not exactly the Celtic Tiger. Do you know what I mean? The agents, like anyone else, it's a business, and I just wasn't the safe bet, and no one was willing to take the risk. You know, so I kind of. But then. Emily Stewart was saying to Carl and Laura about my writing, and Laura was like, "Oh, I'd love to see it." And then I think like 3 pages written or something, and she read it and was like, "This is the play." Her and Carl were like, "This is a play."
Yeah.
And then we just got the ball rolling. I think my final graduation performance came down on the Saturday, and we were in rehearsals for St. Unknown on the Monday.
Oh my God, amazing.
Always there. Like, they like were dramaturgs, they were producers, they were building the set, they were, you know, and yeah, it was just a family, really. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah.
And it was kind of like, you didn't feel like, oh, I'm in a big bad world now. It was kind of like an extended drama school, in a sense that you felt safe, and you could fail and you could fuck up, and all the while you genuinely like the people you're around, and they're genuine friends, you know?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. They were,
like, even now, like, I speak to Laura every single day, you know, and I obviously think of Carl every day.
yeah.
So yeah, you know, and yeah, we're just a big gang of weirdos, guys.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? We're just not the safe bet, and we all kind of found each other.
Yeah,
you know?
and there's such a comfort in it, isn't there? Like,
yeah, and with theatre upstairs, they changed the landscape of Irish theatre.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? They are responsible for an entire generation of Irish theatre makers, young Irish theatre makers, certainly in my generation, you know?
Yeah.
And that's without the actors who cut their teeth there, do you know what I mean? And even if you look at, like, Gilmore, like, she's possibly the most prolific actor of my generation, you know what I mean? Like, we're the same age, and she would be the first to say she cut her teeth there, you know? They're really, sorry, I'm getting very ranty now, but they're responsible for an entire generation of artists, really.
Yeah.
And Laura herself, Laura's only like 32.
Yeah.
Oh, 31, I can't remember, sorry. But do you know what
just
I'm saying?
age her. Yeah.
So, yeah, it's just, and because you're around it every day, it doesn't, the sense of what they've done, the size of what they've done doesn't watch over you.
Yeah.
And it's only when you take a step back, you're like, Jesus Christ.
And when you heard actually that it was, well, like, I'm sure you probably knew maybe before, because I, like, before other people, but like when you heard they were going to be no longer, they were closing down or whatever the kind of, or the hiatus that they were having.
Yeah.
Were you like, did it upset you, like, you know, or was it kind of, did it feel like a natural end?
It felt quite natural, you know, and because they'd had the best year they've ever had, and it was a wonderful way to kind of take the break, you know.
Yeah, and they were actually going on to the Abbey or something, weren't they? They were doing something.
They had the Ridleys and the Abbey and stuff like that. Yeah, it felt, and to be honest, if ever a fucking break was earned.
Yeah. Oh my God.
You know.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
No, exactly. And Erica, sorry, because you did mention her there, who's a brilliant actress, by the way, and has been doing tons as well as yourself. Like, what's your guys' history? Because you seem to do a lot together, and you now live together. Is this correct?
Yeah, she's in there snoring, lovely sleep, or very glam. Yeah, we have a mad out history, and so we met in the National Performing Arts School.
Yeah.
Eamon Farrell and Jill Doyle, shout out to them. And MPAS. We met when we were like 10. I was actually closer to Erica's younger sister, Megan.
Yeah.
I wasn't, I just thought Erica was a bit much. But I was a very quiet child. Yeah, we met there and we were kind of pally for a few years and this and that. And then we fell out of touch for, I'd say, about 10 years. And then my first day in Pullally in Liberty's College, Erica was already in second year. And we met then. And my accent was quite different. I just remember someone going, "Where the fuck did you get that accent?" And I looked around, it was Erica Rowe, full glory, John Clare Blue hanging out of her mouth.
Oh my God, brilliant.
Yeah, so we kind of reconnected then, and then we fell out of touch for another year or two, and then I went to see her in some show, and we were at the bar, and we were like, let's make something. We're always saying it, how long are we saying it? Yeah. Let's fucking make something. Like, what was it we said? Let's start making stuff for knit bags. Either buy knit bags, for knit bags, about knit bags.
Oh my God, I love that. That is absolutely brilliant. And you did.
And we did. Well, if theatre exists anymore, babe.
Yeah, oh, I know. And actually, sorry, that actually does actually bring me on to... Sorry, I'm just thinking a natural... Look how smooth a presenter I am. And that brings me a natural flow onto Macushla. So that got paused basically, didn't it? You were like a few, like, were you days or weeks or were you starting rehearsal? What was it like? Where were you at with it?
So we were about to go into our first day of rehearsal on the Friday, and Leo get that announcement on the Thursday. So Yeah, it was a strange one. Like it was the most perfect room and situation and place for my art. Do you know what I mean? I felt like everything led up to that. Like, we've grown in directing, who in my opinion is probably the best director in the country. Like, with Hilda, who, like, the first time I'd ever heard anyone speak like me on the other stage was Hilda in Roddy's Playboy. You know what I mean? Hilda's been someone I've looked up to for years, and then Shirley, it was like the music of Shirley Bassey, who was like my idol, and then you'd Jessica and Erica, two hometown girls, and Jade, who was fucking brilliant, you know?
Yeah.
I could actually play Shirley Bassey in a life story. Like, well, Rude Nega got there first, but it was just the most ideal situation that I was kind of like, I was kind of going in the back of my head, something's going to happen here.
Oh,
I knew it was too good, and this is Pop Baby, like, we fit. A national theatre company, like, do you know what I mean? The baddest bitches, like, I was like, something has to happen here. This is too fucking perfect. I couldn't have dreamed this, like.
Oh my God.
But do you know what it was? I think, yes, when you know there's nothing you can do about it, it's surprising how quickly the body and the mind accepts it.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, I was losing a show. My friend were losing an entire festival, 2 years of work.
Yeah.
So I kind of just put it into perspective for myself, and, you know. Yeah,
fair play to you. Because I was going to ask, did you have like a minute with yourself being like, oh my God? Because I was in a like filming got paused, and we will be picked back up and stuff. But like, I was really surprised at myself, because I was like, okay, yeah, grand. And weirdly, I don't know why, I was feeling more bad for people in theatre. I don't know why, but I feel like with theatre, there's the graft, and there's the fucking years in the making of something, or the getting the funding, getting the people, maybe people who haven't been on stage in a while are dying to get back on stage, and then it was just that feeling of just like, oh. But then I suppose we are all in it together. Yeah, but like, at the end of the day, theatre is always going to be film's fat best friend. Do you know what I mean? They're never going to have the money. They're never going to be looked at this way. They're never. And most actors will always tell you, like, nothing will ever compare to theatre. Yeah. Like if theatre paid what film pays, I don't think any of us would set foot in front of the camera again. Yeah. You know what I mean? Yeah. So you're right. I kind of felt a lot more for the theatre people as well, because we know what it's like to get funding in the first place, let alone for it to be given again for the same production, you know? Yeah. All of the film stuff, we know we'll just pick up again. Yeah. You know, like, even during all this, how many self-tapes have we done for things that are still going to go ahead? Yeah. You know, so, yeah, I think you're right. I really felt more for theatre than, we don't even know if it exists anymore, babe, you know? I know, and like, and where is, it's going to have a big shift, I think, and I feel like, but I was kind of going, I wasn't happy, but I was kind of saying, I feel like Irish theatre has been dying for years for a big shake-up, and to just change the look of it, change the whole vibe of it, and hopefully, as sad as it is, I really hope that this will do that. Like, because I think for years there was, I feel like there was a time that Irish theatre was kind of resting on its laurels a bit, or just kind of churning out a similar kind of style of thing. And I feel like this might just make, like, necessity breeds inventiveness. That is probably not the term, whatever it is, but like the necessity of it will make people more think more about it, and try and be a bit more inventive on how they go about theatre, and maybe bring it to places that may not have been accessible before and stuff like that. Well, even if you look back, some of the greatest theatre that we remember is theatre in times of crisis. Yeah. Do you know what I'm saying? Even like in the Irish canon, like O'Casey, the king of the Irish canon, really, like, it was during the Easter Rising, and like the Revolution or Rebellion, yeah. All of that, like, you know? Yeah. So yeah, I think it's also a matter of not getting back to the way things were. Starting a new conversation now, and you know yourself, because we've written like the one-man shows and the show for two people, and we get these ignorant comments. Yeah, but it's not a play. Yeah, you know what I'm saying. So I think, did you know? You went on it because it's not a play. Yeah. Table and chairs. Yeah. Like, so hopefully it starts to change the conversation.
And then they'll come looking for you and me with our small shows that can facilitate all these government guidelines. Where's your now?
Be very COVID-19 friendly now.
Very. I'm never knocking our doors down. People.
I know, it's mad actually. It will actually probably end up turning around to that. It's like crazy. Oh no, it's mental. But like this is it as well. I was just thinking, you seem like, I think from an outsider's perspective, right? You seem like really sure on what you're doing, really sure. I don't want to say your brand, but really sure on your vibe and what you're about. And do you like, has that always been easy for you, or has there been a time where you were like getting a fucking clue what you're doing, or you weren't confident in it?
I still don't know what I'm fucking doing. I'm in the middle of writing a commission for the Axes, and it's never been harder ever. Like I never know what I'm fucking doing. I just think I've had to fight to be allowed to be who I am. You know, I've been very lucky that I've had such a supportive family always, but I just feel like that I've had to fight to kind of be allowed to be who I am and stuff like that. So I kind of have no choice but to believe in what I do. And I'm lucky in the sense that I don't give a fuck. People think, but I really do.
Yeah.
So I'm really talking in circles now, but...
No, you're not.
Yeah, no, I don't haven't always known what I'm doing, but I just have an element of I don't give a fuck. The people who deserve to get it will get it.
Yeah. Is there anything that made you was there any turning point where you're like, I'm just not going to give a shit anymore? Like, yeah,
after drama school, because you know yourself, like there's so many egos and insecurities in the one room, and I spent 2 years trapped inside my own head, petrified of what these people thought of me, and really caring about their opinions on me. When, like, are they going to be paying my bills? No.
I know, isn't it?
Do you know what I mean? Like, not to be that basic gay who works for RuPaul, but unless they're paying your bills, pay the bitches no mind. Do you know what I mean? So after drama school, something just clicked, and I went, nah, fuck this now. I'm gonna do me, and if you don't like it, at least that was me.
Yeah. And in drama school, would you have been less confident even in...
Oh my God, yes. Yes, absolutely. Like, everything was there. Like, you know, technically the voice was there and that, but there was no heart. There was no... I was fucking petrified.
Yeah.
You know?
Would there be like... would it be just in general, or like particularly, say if you got on stage, would the little voice be like, you're shit? Or just watching everyone else, paying more attention to everyone else in the room than yourself?
Yeah, it was just a confidence thing. I was just really, really knocked. Do you know what I mean? And then something, which was probably the best piece of training for me, because something just clicked and I went, right, fuck this, here we go.
Yeah.
You know, and that was probably the best thing I could have done.
Yeah, and then probably do you think having your writing kind of gave you that little bit of confidence, or that little bit of like, I've got a little secret weapon here that nobody else has. Like, I have a little bit of power here. You know, like if you didn't have your writing, you could have just been like coming out of drama school going, a few more knockbacks.
Yeah.
Could just set you off.
Exactly. I think that was my little secret weapon probably. And I think I was very lucky that I knew fully who the fuck I was at such a young age. You know, because like you see so many actors struggling to know who they are and all of this. All young people really, but I think it's intensified when you're an actor. You're manipulating your feelings for a living. So yeah, I think what probably stood to me like was the fact that I knew who I was and I just didn't care anymore. I'd given all my cares away to people, you know, and I was just like, right, fuck this. If I don't do it, I don't do it. My mum and dad are working the fucking tits off to get me to this point, so I owe to them to just fucking. Sorry, I keep coursing.
It's absolutely fine. I've already I put it in the, what is it, when I put this up, I'm always like, they're like, is this suitable for children? And I'm always like, nah.
No.
Let's not do. Absolutely not. But like in terms of actually, sorry, just because you were saying about your mum and stuff, you wrote something and it's stuck in my head now. I can't remember the words of it, but I do remember the feeling it gave me. And you put up something, I think it was like on Facebook, a poem that you'd written for your mom.
Oh, the Peacock's Protector. Yeah.
Oh my God.
I'm emotional. I just get emotional even thinking of it. Sorry.
I know. No, it's fine. It's like, it's wonderful. Like it was basically about that she was kind of, I guess, like celebrated your individuality and your brightness.
Yeah.
And rather than trying to be like, oh shit, no, let's kind of like, let's just squash this down and let's have nobody look over here or something, you know. And it was just the most beautiful. Like, had you written that recent? Like, was that like a recent thing you wrote? Or
I started writing it with locked one night. And then I looked at, so I'm getting really, I even thinking of it, I don't know, I'm fragile today.
No, you're fine.
I don't know, it just poured out with me.
Yeah.
You know, and like, and I showed it to her and she's kind of like, oh, that's lovely. Like, my mum was the type, when you get a part in the Abbey or you win an Oscar, it's the same reaction.
Yeah.
You know, she's like, oh, that's great.
Yeah.
And you know what I mean? And it's only when other people say, she goes, oh, that's big, isn't it? Like, that's good. She's just, you know what, I honestly, God, I don't deserve her. I know everyone says their mom is the best in the world, but she is just, she's something else. I mean, dad as well, Jesus, I'm so lucky to have the two of them. Yeah. I'm just honestly so blessed. Yeah. Honest to God, like, I wasn't the easiest person to raise. Do you know what I'm saying? And I always wonder if I didn't have them two fucking titans. Yeah. Raising me, where I'd be or what I'd be, you know? Yeah.
And do you feel like they fought for you? They fought your corner? They like...
Oh, always. Even when they were fighting my corner against me. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, even last week, like, my dad, like, he was like, I just want to learn. I want to know about all this. And we watched the life and death of Martha P. Johnson. Yeah. And like, and he was making me quiz him on the correct terms and preferred pronouns, and like, he's something else. Like, I was going to tweet about it, and I went, you know, people won't even believe this. Yeah. And then he was like, this woman. He was like, that first brick she threw, you're standing on her shoulders. I was just like, where would you get it? You know, I'm so lucky. Like,
oh my God, they sound incredible.
They really are. They're just normal people. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. No, but
normal people.
Normal people. Oh God, normal people. Can't stop thinking about it.
I'm not the better of it. Like, I'm talking a pal of mine. It's just not him. You know, it's just, it's
obsessed. Like,
oh
obsessed.
my God, it broke me.
Yeah, no, I was the same. And I was actually, I think I was saying this in one of these podcasts, I was saying, like, you know, the drama like that for young ones in their 20s, when I was, like, I sound like I'm now one and I'm not, but it's in, like, you know, when I was kind of coming up, oh my God, there was nothing like that. There was nothing.
We like, Girls in Love on Nickelodeon, and that was the thing at the top, you know what I mean?
Oh my God, it was incredible. Like, oh my God, yeah.
Yeah, it took my breath away, you know, and it was just, and especially when you know someone, you're just like, obviously I always knew he was brilliant, like Jesus, but it just wasn't even acting. Like, it was just being, wasn't it? Like,
incredible.
Tore the fucking heart out of me.
Like, you know, when you see a performance like that and you go like, oh my God, like, that person has been peaked. Not that that's the best they'll do, but they've reached a peak. Do you feel like that about any of your performances? Like a high point, like, where you're like, I know I did something special there. Like, I have got something, you know.
Yeah. I think as a performer, when we're on it, because maybe we have been off it a lot. When me and Eric are on it, didn't say nothing to no one, my first play, and when it's a particularly good show, and just watching her from down there, I'm like, it's never, ever going to get better. They could exhume Betty Davis and make her act on stage with me, and it would not beat this moment of being there with my best friend in the world and doing something we love, you know. So I'd like to think I haven't peaked. I'd like to think there's a few bits left to shake out the bag, but I definitely think that's forever going to be my definitive, like, my favorite, you know.
Because it is nice to kind of reach those moments where you're like, oh yeah, I'm good. Like, yeah, do you think you're good at what you do? Because, like, it is nice to reach those moments where you go, yeah, no, I'm good at it. Yeah.
You know what? I say this thing to when people get nervous, that they're not nervous.
Yeah.
And I'm like, bitch, you have worked your tits off for the last 4 weeks. You are entitled, and you've earned the right to be confident before you come on stage.
Yes.
You know what I mean? And I think, like, you're like me, Amy, we're hustlers. You know what I mean? We by no means made in a conventional way. I'm not saying we made, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I just think we've worked hard enough to be allowed to look in the mirror and say, I'm fucking good.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because why else would we put up with the years of being broke and all of this?
Yeah, so it is important, I think, to be able to
like, I don't think there's any actor who doesn't, or performer or artist who doesn't think they're good. The people who don't believe they're good have already dropped out.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Actually,
why else would we be dealing with all of this shit and the no's and the this and that? We didn't think we were good.
Yeah.
Don't get me wrong, I believe I have weaknesses. I'm the first to go, that was fucking desperate. What were you doing there? But I will go, no, that was good, well done.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. And it is that thing actually about the work, being a grafter and not having things handed to you and not going the conventional route. And I have this thing, like I've said that before, I go, I'm so glad that I didn't go the conventional route. I'm actually really glad. I think it's made me a better person. I think it's made me a better performer. Like, and are you glad, or are there times when you see people and you go like, oh, fuck, I wish I just had it that way. I wish I had that lovely linear road that they seem to be traveling.
Well, I sometimes wish I had a jawline that might have helped. You know what I mean? Yeah. Do you know what, Amy? I swear to God, like I feel so blessed. Like in this current moment, I am delighted with who I am and what I've done and the people around me. So I don't think I would have changed an absolute thing.
Yeah.
Because to even think it would even slightly shift who I am, or do you know what I'm saying? I'm getting really flowery here, but
no, it's nice.
Like, I don't get me wrong, there are parts that I go, Jesus Christ, I would have loved that, or do you know what I mean? Or there are ideas where I go, fuck, why didn't I do that?
Yes.
But no, I never. I suppose I'm lucky. Maybe it's confident, maybe it's delusion, I don't know, but I never really regret.
No, I kind of feel the same. I think it's also pointless. And actually, I think the older that you get and the more you look back, all of those little dots start to join up. You know, like you meeting Erica and all those, like, you know, and
exactly,
and even it all comes
even
together.
People who've hurt me or really bad experiences, I don't even regret that, because you always come away with something from it, you know.
Yeah.
And even I always say about like forgiving, because regret, like not forgiving, it's futile. And even if someone's done something really horrible on you, you need to forgive them for you, because at the end of the day, you're carrying around this bile.
Yeah.
And they're benefiting.
And it's burning your insides, not theirs. Yeah.
Now, even if you don't think they deserve forgiveness, forgive for you, because they're only benefiting further from you hurting over them, you know?
Yeah. No, absolutely. And is there...
Fuck your aura up as well.
Exactly. No, exactly. And I think it's good to come into any situation in the job that we do with a really pure light aura, energy, vibe, whatever you want to say. But I think it is. I think you can definitely see when someone's bitter, and I think it's not a good look. And it's hard. Ages. Yeah, and it
ages.
Yeah.
You know, and I always say I'm not everyone's cup of tea, but it's always a warm cup of tea. You know what I mean? Like, so do what you will.
Oh my God, that's brilliant.
No one likes cold tea.
Yeah, exactly. I'd be nice and warm anyway, no matter what. And is there, like, have you had any, because you do seem like you've had, although it's not like a typical linear kind of route, you do seem like you've had quite a positive route. Have you had any like bad experiences within the industry where you're just like, I will never, or, you know, you don't have to name names, but I just mean that kind of name them.
And you know what? I've been very, very, very lucky.
Yeah.
You know, like, I think that the one time I kind of struggled was drama school, but in terms of the industry, I've been welcomed with open arms and helped, and like there are so many people who were just jumping and breaking their backs to want to help me.
Yeah.
You know, and I've been really well looked after, touch wood, that'll keep people up. But I just have had a really, really positive experience. Now, don't get me wrong. I can see I've been dismissed. Like, I can see when I'm not being taken seriously. I can see when what I do and what I write about is kind of fetishized in a way, and not seeing on the grander scale, or a play, you know, or people not taking me seriously as an actor. And then it only takes that one thing, and then you finally see like a straight white male going, okay, maybe he can, you know?
Yeah.
No, there's nothing specific or anything like that. It's been a very positive, other than, you know yourself, like when you go on like me and you dress like me, I think I'm some socialite who shows up to open nights.
Yeah.
And absolutely stunning.
But, and you're like, and I do.
And I do. But no, I think now I'm at a stage where I proved myself as a writer and an actor, and I'm a pretty decent person, you know.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's all been positive, I think. Yes, no,
And
it has.
when people, when you know people aren't taking you seriously or aren't taking your work seriously, like, God, how do you navigate that? Like, are you the type to just kind of back off and find somewhere else that will take you seriously, or do you fight to be taken seriously, or like, what's kind of?
A bit of both, but I'm kind of the belief that concentrate on the people who are taking you seriously, and the people who are loving you, because if they don't want you, they're never going to want you. Do you know what I mean? So concentrate on the people who are taking you seriously and who are liking what you do. Yeah, and they'll eat their hat very soon.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, because I think as well, we have this thing in Ireland, and I know from even like I remember feeling that very much a few years ago, that like, you know, if a certain casting director wouldn't see you, or a certain, you know, or certain theatre wouldn't have you in for an audition or whatever, there'd be this kind of like, God, I have to get in there. I have to get in there. And I often think like, that's such a waste of your energy. Because they'll come crawling eventually, whatever, you know, if you're concentrating on the people that are supporting you to be the best artist that you can be.
You continue to just improve and improve and improve and improve.
Yeah.
If you're concentrating on the people who don't want to know you, the ones who do are going to lose interest.
Yeah.
Because you're not focusing on them, you know?
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm kind of, maybe it's a pride thing. I think it's probably a town thing. Like, we're very proud people. Like, yeah, if someone doesn't want to know, then I don't want to know. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
You'll eat your words soon enough, hon.
Yeah. And would you be quite? Yeah, exactly. I know. You'll soon. I'm always like, you'll come running soon.
Henry Higgins. Yeah. I'm sweating, Jesus Christ. Sorry, love.
It's the thrill of the conversation. It's the thrill.
Doesn't get gayer, does it? Really?
I know, it really can't.
Oh.
Like, would you be quite? Not. I don't. Elitist is the wrong word. So, but you know the way, like, certain people are like, oh, I want to be seen in this theatre or this kind of TV show or in this kind of place. Or do you feel like the work comes first? I know there's a right answer to that, but would you be very specific on like, no, I want my name on that theatre? Or is it kind of for you that like you want to, where does your focus or where does your starting point come from? Does it start at the work and then the goal? Or is it kind of like, I want to play in this theatre and I'm going to write that play? Or do you kind of just start grafting? I
just start working and I just throw everything at the wall and see what sticks.
Yeah. Which is
and then we see what happens. Yeah. I just kind of go with the flow, you know?
Yeah. Yeah. I feel kind of similar. I don't get that with a lot of, I don't get that with a lot of people sometimes, where I always go the work, just focus in on the work, and it doesn't, you know, and then see what sticks.
Yeah.
Eventually it might be in that theatre, but like get the work done and get it on. Like, I always want to get it on.
Yeah.
Seen, and then hopefully someone will see it and get what it's about.
Exactly. Like, and none of us are going to say no to a main stage Abbey. You know what
I
mean?
Of course not. No. Oh no, I've refused it 4 times. Yes.
Yeah, it's just about getting the work, isn't it? Really getting it done, and then see what happens after that.
And how does it cut when you're writing stuff? Does it like, does it literally pour through you, or would you be very meticulous about what you're writing, or does it cut? Like, because for me, what drives me mad is that an idea will. What drives me mad is my dog barking here. But what drives me mad is an idea will come, and I have to just basically churn. Like, I have to just pour it out of me, and then figure out what I'm talking about, which is very hard.
I think I'm the opposite, right? The idea will come and I have to let it marinate for a week, and then I have to, because I have ADHD, so I can just go zoom into another corner of the room. Like, so I kind of have to structure every little bit out and know exactly what happens. I can't write just to write. Do you know what I mean? I kind of have to know what's happened from start to finish in every scene, and then go, right, okay, now we can write. And then I usually bang it out in about a week.
Amazing.
And this is after weeks and weeks and weeks of fucking painting.
Yeah. And do you actually have ADHD?
Oh my God, yes.
Oh my God. So when did you know you had it? Like when did
I was assessed within 2 weeks of mainstream schooling.
Oh my God.
Oh
Okay.
baby, I was like a Duracell bunny.
Oh my God, stop.
Yeah,
So,
and that's another thing about me, man. Like there wasn't as much information about it back then. And I've
no.
seen my mum having screaming matches with teachers who dismissed me as just bold for most of my life.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And this is like my mum wasn't like, couldn't just Google it. And my mum was taking any piece of information she could get from these specialists and really, really, really learned about it, you know. And yeah, they just didn't get the concept, you know.
No. And I actually think a lot of people probably were, say, when I was in school or I'm thinking like primary school, would have been undiagnosed, and they totally did have something like that. Do you know?
Absolutely.
Yeah. And was there a point then when you were able to manage it and use it, like you say, for your benefit? Because it's kind of, you can bash that out in a week then once you have your structure, you know.
Exactly.
Like, was there a point where you were like, oh, I'm in charge, I'm in charge of this now, I can kind of, like, you know how to manage it?
Yeah, I kind of do. We have our days now, me and the ADHD.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I feel I'm kind of in charge of it then. I kind of know what to do. Then I need to get up, or I need to get out, or I need to stand down the bathroom and just take a minute or two, you know?
Yeah.
Excuse me. But yeah, it's a struggle, like, you know, but it's not. As an adult now, I know about it, and I know what to do for myself. It's not like I'm a helpless young child who's been told there's nothing wrong with them, you know.
Yeah,
it's grand. Like, I find anxiety much more of a problem than ADHD.
Yeah, I was going to ask you, because anxiety, I did think that you'd mentioned it in something, in an article or something, and I was going to ask you about it, because is that something, like, I had, right, anxiety, and I had separation anxiety as a kid, right, but we didn't know what it was. There was no name for it, and I just went from being a super confident kid, you know, like not a dickhead, but a super confident kid, to like, oh God, there was a few years I just couldn't leave my mum's side. Like, it was desperate. And but I didn't know what it was called. I was just going to ask, and now, and I definitely have little bouts of like anxiety. I can totally manage it, and I have like yoga and all those things that I know work for me. But was there a time, was that something that you always kind of had, even as a kid and stuff, or was it something that came later at a specific point?
Do you know what? When it got really bad and it was kind of diagnosed and whatever, I realised I'd had it for longer than I did. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. I thought they were isolated incidences and stuff like that, but just, you know, like you'd have a panic attack or whatever, and you'd think that was just an isolated incident. But then when doing, no, you have anxiety and looking back, yeah, I think I always kind of did have it. I think kind of was triggered in puberty. Yeah. And then, you know,
which is kind of,
I think life got more stressful and life got more like full of responsibilities and stuff. The anxiety kind of got worse, you know?
Yeah. And how do you manage it now?
Yeah, well, I've been going to the same GP since I'm a kid, you know what I mean? And she's really good at kind of knowing what I need and knowing what's going on, and you know, like, medication is always the last resort, you know.
Yeah.
But no, I'm managing it really well. You know what? I got really, really bad at the start of this pandemic. Yeah. Like, I mean, really, really, really bad. But I'm great now, and you just kind of have to take it by the day. Yeah. You know, and we all have it, and like, you just need to look at it. There's always someone worse off than you. If you think your anxiety is bad, there's always someone worse than you. Yeah. You know? And I think the COVID, like, the thing at the beginning of this, it was saying, like, anyone who has anxiety, anyone who has depression, anyone who has eating disorders, things like that, they were saying everything is going to now just flare up. Like, it's exactly. Yeah. So what did somebody say to me? A friend of mine said to me, we can't run away from our trauma anymore. She's living in America, and she was like, she heard somebody say it, and I was like, that's exactly what it is. I'm going to steal that line. You'll see that in the next
Yeah, because it was like, isn't it brilliant? Because it's like everything that we do in society is built around running away from our trauma and our problems. And, you know, like, you're going for drinks, you're meeting people, you're going to the theatre, you're going to this, you're doing, like, you're
buying shoes you don't need.
Exactly. Everything, all those little tricks were just whipped away from us. And then they're just like, oh, here's all that trauma that you didn't deal with. So here you go. And you can just sit with that now while there's nothing else to do.
Oh, that is deep. That's Marina Carr deep.
Isn't it? That'd be my next play now.
Yeah. Oh my God. Yeah. No, but big time, because we're left there with the cold naked truth.
Yeah.
Really, in your own, in your own four walls.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, it did flare up.
Yeah. It did a bit. Yeah. It's like, but like, I guess what's weird, and I don't know if you found this, I was saying this to people as well. A lot of people in our industry said at the time, you know, when all this trauma is then coming up, they're like, oh God, I was on this trajectory and I was at this point in my career, like good things were finally happening. Everyone felt like that. And I wondered, we've always been like that. We've always been on a really good point possibly in our career. And we just never took the time to actually look and go, I'm actually doing really well, you know?
Yeah. There's that side of it. It's a kind of a glass half full, glass half empty. Some people saw it as exactly time to just stop and take it all in and stuff like that. And then people saw it as when you're not busy, you're left alone with the reasons you stay busy.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? So I think it depends on your outlook, really.
Yeah. Are you able to definitely dig, well, you seem like you are, dig for the dig for the positivity. Like, would you, when something like this happens or you are facing your trauma, would you be more leaning towards I'm going to dig my way out of this anxiety or pain or, you know? Or are you a wallower, basically?
No, that's one thing I hate. I hate wallowing. Even like Eric will tell you, even like I always say, I never get physically sick, never get cold rotten. It's because I just don't give in to them. I just kind of get on with it. Yeah. I hate wallowing.
Yeah.
Yeah. Do you know what it was? During this, I think normally with anxiety, you take it day by day.
Yeah.
During the pandemic, baby, it was hour by hour.
Oh my God, minute by minute. Oh my God.
Oh, my nerves, like.
And did you find, because I was finding myself, I was going through every emotion in one day.
Yeah.
Like, so I'd wake up and I'd be like, I'm in great form. I'm dealing with this really well. And then by lunchtime, I'd be like, my life. Like,
the size of things, everything was just so big because we were in our house 24/7 and just the size of the emotions and the size of the situation just seemed so much bigger. Like, do you know what I mean? Fucking Medea territory on a daily basis. Like,
oh my God, it's ridiculous. And it feels like it's slowly coming back now. But I feel, I don't know about you, but I feel a bit less reluctant to just are you like willing to dive in, or are you kind of like slowly go back to society?
I'm gonna dive right in because do you know what? I gave this thing so much fucking power at the start. I wasn't even going into my front garden because I'm asthmatic, and I was like, and then obviously with the anxiety, you're going, oh, you get that, you're gone, that's it. And there's like two sides of your brain, do you know what I mean? And one of them is going, like, because you know that cliche angel devil thing, like the show, that's what anxiety is, like. Your reason is gone, no, you'll be grand, stop, no, you get there, gone. You know, so I give it so much power that something just clicked a few weeks ago and I went, nah. Yeah. I'm telling, abide by the guidelines and all of this, but I'm taking myself back from this now.
Yeah.
No, so when we can, I'm diving right back into society.
Yeah. God, and it's kind of true to form because you do seem to, like, even with your work, you take your power back. Like, your own work is taking your power back.
Taking me power back. I give it so much fucking power that I'm just like, if I do get it, I'm going to do what I did with every other bad thing. I'm going to punch the fucking head off and I'll be grand.
Yeah.
I just hate the idea of giving something power. And that's what I did with this fucking coronavirus, you know?
Yeah. And we're like, with the play thing, I guess, being paused, did you... Yeah, so I know you were like, no, I kind of could see the perspective, but was there a day or two where you were just like, oh God.
Oh, big time. And then you had like lying awake at night thinking like, oh my dad, that's it, oh my God. Or like, do you know what I mean? Like all of these.
Yeah. No.
And then you speak to someone and you realise you're not the only one. Like we've all had such a nearly identical experience of this, you know?
And we're all kind of, did you feel a bit as well, like we were all, because every art, like my sister, I remember was like, Amy, every actor in the world is unemployed right now. She was like, brilliant. Like, do you know, it's a real, like, we're all the same. Like, I'm unemployed, Tom Cruise is unemployed. Like,
But that's what Erica said as well. She was like, it's kind of lovely that the stress is taken out of it and there's no rat race. She was like, we're all in the one boat. She said the exact thing. Sorry to cut you off there.
No, not at all. But that's it. And then as soon as things like tapes start creeping back in, you're like, no, I like to be in the boat when all of us are not doing anything, you know? Yeah,
but then it was as well, though, there was that little flutter at the heart to go, oh yeah, no, there's life outside of this, when you see your agent's email popping up there on your phone and you're like, oh God, I do have life outside of this.
Yeah, oh my God.
Yeah.
And actually, sorry, I'm just thinking of that kind of, would you be competitive? Like, would you be, or like, what's your, like, how do you, because I think sometimes, like I've been saying this before, in this country, because it's so small, everybody knows what everyone's doing, and everyone knows who got this, and everybody knows what everyone's auditioning for.
Yeah.
And obviously you have pals and stuff in the industry. Do you find it hard do you ever find it hard to be happy for people? Do you know, like?
You know, I've been very lucky in that sense. Like, don't get me wrong, we all have the friend who does looks away when people are talking about what they're in for and all, and say nothing. But like, I'm the type, I would tell everyone, if I think someone is right for something I'm in for, I'm like, here, get on to your agent, to tell them about it. Because my thing is, you stopping someone getting into the room isn't going to make you do any better in the room.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
so true.
Like, that's my thing. I tell everyone about everything.
Oh my God. That's such a good way of thinking of it. You're not gonna, because it's not gonna make you do any better. Like,
no.
Do you know what I mean? Yeah.
I know 9 times out of 10 they know who they want, and they're just going through the ringer because they have to.
Yeah, exactly. It's part of it. God, I'm gonna just have to wrap up. This feels like it felt like 5 minutes, but I do want
very natch. I loved it.
I know, such flow.
Except for the sweating, Jesus Christ.
But it's a great excuse for fun. Oh my God, Whitney Houston. Obsessed. I know.
I watch YouTube concerts of her all the time, and it sobbed me heart out with a reaction.
God, and I was in randomly. Was it like this sounds very showbiz, but it's not a showbiz. It sounds. But I was in LA when she died, and I remember.
What?
Yeah, and there was
I've never seen that. What?
But it was like, oh my God, the funeral and the people all like lining up, and like and we did drive by was it the Beverly Hilton or something, and there were like where everyone was outside, like mental, like obsessed with her story.
Drinks off everyone.
Yeah. Oh my God.
God forgive me.
I do have one more question.
Yeah.
Because I always ask everyone kind of at the end, like, what does creativity mean to you? You can, and this is not like you don't have to. It's not a one-word answer. You can waffle.
Yeah. Oh God. What does creativity mean to me? Freedom, probably. You know what I mean? Because I think to get to that point where we create our best work, we have to be completely free, and we have to be able to give ourselves over to it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So just free from whatever is stopping you, whatever obstacle, free from that, and free to get to that point. Yeah. Freedom. Does that sound like wank?
No, that's
good. I mean what I'm saying, so it's not wank if I mean what I'm saying.
No, it is right. It is right. Actually, Sean, who was my first guest, who's also my housebound, said the exact same thing. He said freedom.
Yeah.
And then every subsequent person is like, freedom? Did someone? And I was like, yeah, someone said that. They're like, okay, I'll try. But most people, it's weird. It is freedom, and I feel like that. And the obstacles don't, because if you're tuned into your creativity, say we've had similar experiences where maybe had obstacles or the road wasn't so straight. It might have been curved, but your creativity is the place where the freedom is. So everything is possible in that kind of way, isn't it?
Exactly. And that voice that's niggling away. I got this off a drag queen in season 7 of RuPaul's Drag Race, right? Patia. She named the voice. She called her Brenda, and she tells her to fuck off.
Yeah.
So she's like, fuck off, Brenda. So I call mine Paula. And when she's getting in the way of the freedom, I'm like, fuck off, Paula.
Yeah. Oh my God. I'm actually going to name mine because it would help, actually. It would definitely help, for sure.
Name the voice so then you know who you're telling to fuck off.
Yes. Because if it's just your own voice, you're kind of telling yourself to fuck off.
Exactly. So you need to separate that negativity from you. Like.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely.
Who do I think I am? I'm giving all this advice. My life is upside down.
You're like, I've no work at the moment. This is fucking
my life is fucking on at the minute.
I know, it's been brilliant, and it's been such a nice chat, and I'm thrilled because I haven't gotten to talk to you in this long space at all. So I feel like I've just been stalking you from a distance. It's been thrilling because your content is on point. So no, it's been lovely, and every bit, like, the chat has just been so nice, and just
lovely,
and I think, like, I can only wish you the best, because you're coming from a pure place, and it doesn't matter, like, and this is what I've been saying with the podcast. I'm like, the thing I'm realizing is we all feel the same things. We're just basically presenting them in a different way, or it shows up in a different way. But
through a different filter. Do you know what I mean? That's all it is the different filters. We're all processing the same thing in a different way.
Absolutely. Oh, you lovely, lovely man. Thank you so much.
Mwah.
Thank you. Mwah.
Bye, babe.
Bye. So there you have it. Thommas Kane Byrne. I really enjoyed that chat. I had such a laugh. I was actually on quite a high from it afterwards. I just felt such an affinity with Thommas because, anybody who makes their own work and makes things happen, because I think this industry is really hard sometimes. And I think when you take your power back, it's invaluable, and it makes, it just sets a domino effect out there. And I think great things are going to happen for him, because, as he says himself, he's a grafter. And why not? Just keep doing what you're doing, Thommas, because you're doing great. So, I hope you enjoyed it. And if you are enjoying these, please remember to subscribe. We're on YouTube, Apple Podcasts, and Spotify. You can rate and review us, and tell all your friends and pass it on. I'm really enjoying the chats, and I just think at the moment things are weird, and if this makes people feel a little bit better, then why not? So until the next episode, have a great day, guys.